let's get to it. Now getting all the shelving and the bulkhead out was pretty straightforward, but the tables were attached with some stainless steel rivets. I didn't realize this until I went to drill them out and melted a new metal drill bit, so I just cut the brackets for now to keep the momentum going. I really hope these aren't the factory filters from 2018. So here's something funny. The guy who sold me this van said it wasn't smoked in, despite the fact that it had a burn hole in the seat, smelled like tar and ozone cleaner, had tar residue on the retaining wall, and I found black and mild wrappers under the seats. Now I didn't show it, but I deep cleaned the whole driver's area of the van, and I was even able to get 6 years worth of farts out of the seats to make room for new ones. After getting the floors pressure washed and rinsed out a few times, I went ahead and mopped them to get any of the remaining grime off. The next step was to repair and seal up any of the holes they put in the floor. Now I went ahead and got Bonda to do this and used it on a few of the holes while forgetting to press record. And then it occurred to me that since I'm just wanting a watertight seal and they won't be seen, I can just use some exterior grade silicone to seal up the holes. So that's what I did for the rest of the holes, just to keep things moving. Once all the holes were filled, it was time to prime and paint any exposed metal to help prevent rust down the line. Now I just picked up a can of this Rust-Oleum automotive touch-up paint, which made quick work of this task. For the subflooring, I decided to just frame it out with wood and then use foam insulation between the joists. This is a lightweight and very cost-effective method. I used two 2x6x10s. Now I kept the framing nice and simple, with most sections being 48 inches tall to minimize the amount of cuts and waste of the insulation. Since the 2x's were not straight and there was some variation in width, I took measurements for both ends and connected the lines with a straight edge to get a nice tight fit. Once I had the insulation all down, I went ahead and taped all the seams off. Now I don't know if this really does much, but it seems to be common practice and it didn't take very long to do it, so I figured what the heck. For the subflooring, I just went with some 3-layer, 1/2-inch plywood since it's lightweight and inexpensive. Luckily, I didn't have to make templates for the flooring from scratch. They weren't perfect, but I was able to use the rubber matting the previous owner had installed. Now if I didn't have these, I just would have used cardboard. It was at this point in the build where I really started to get excited, as I was starting to get a taste of my vision coming together. Up until this point, it'd been a ton of cleaning and maintenance, all which were important, but not much to show. It's also at this point where I decided to jump into the van life head first and sell my truck. I had flirted with the idea of building a camper van or something along those lines for a long time, but adding another set of expenses to life just didn't seem smart. With my job, it's hard to get a lot of time off, so we would make it work by taking short trips, and we were able to do it pretty often. These days, those same trips we took were over twice what they used to cost, and now I'd have to pay to board my dogs, find people to watch them, or pay big pet fees. This led to us not traveling and making new memories, which just didn't sit well with me. So that's when I started hunting for a van to convert into our own little getaway vehicle. And while I love my truck and I'm sad to see it gone, I'm more excited for the road ahead and the memories we're going to make along the way, which is what really matters in the end. If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your view and I hope it was worth the click. If you're not already, I would like to invite you to subscribe, as I'm going to be releasing more videos as the van progresses. You may also be interested in some of my other videos pertaining to furniture building and general woodworking projects, but of course, no pressure. Alright, now back to the build. With the subflooring temporarily secured in place, we can turn our attention to the sound deadening and the insulation. For the sound deadening, I'm going to use more of those mats I put under the floor. Getting all the extra road noise and rattle out is super important to me, as this is my daily driver, but also because my hearing is not as good as it once was. Thanks, Uncle Sam. So after getting the plastic wall paneling down, I gave everything a good wipe down before getting everything up on the walls. I also went around and siliconed anywhere and everywhere that the ribs of the van came in contact with the sheet metal siding, as I noticed this alone was causing a lot of rattle, and that made a big difference and didn't really take too much time. So up until this point, I was not able to use the radio, the backup camera, or even set the time and date on the dash so it would stop flashing, since the screen was broken when I bought the van. Luckily, there's a company on eBay that builds custom vans for people and sells the OEM head units for cheap. I was able to get a whole new radio for $60 compared to $300-$400 from Mopar. After getting all the sound deadening up, the van was riding a whole lot quieter. The overall noise level was about 70 to 74 decibels riding on the highway. However, I felt like I could do better. I got the idea to get some sound absorbing fabric to put underneath the floor, and it turns out they make just the thing. These are for hardwood floors and it doubles as insulation. So I pulled up the subflooring, laid down the remaining butyl mats that I had, and then put two 1/8 inch layers down, gluing them in place. This got the noise level down to about 65 decibels, so I would say it's worth it. I also noticed the main walking area had a little bit of flex between the joists, so I took this opportunity to add a little extra reinforcement. For the walls, I picked up some radiant heat insulation. This stuff works pretty well, and I was able to notice a difference almost immediately. To attach it, I just used some heavy-duty double-sided tape. Alright, so that's going to be it for this one. We had a lot of progress. Make sure you subscribe, because in the next one we're going to start framing our walls and running our electrical. This thing's really going to start coming to life, so definitely don't want to miss it. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.